Do you ever have trouble with your time management? You find your days and weeks just fly by. You don't really know what you're doing with your time, and you can't actually get to the working on your business because you're so busy working in it. So, today I want to talk to you about mastering your time and give you some tools and guidance on how you can better manage your own schedule. Obviously, you have to find what works best for you, but this is a great way to just start thinking about how you are operating and maybe how too available you are for your clients and perhaps even your team. So, I'm going to share my slides with you and just go through this and hopefully you will find this valuable. Okay, so mastering your time. So often entrepreneurs default to the working in their business, and this is the work that directly produces the revenue for your business, right? So it's essential for achieving success. However, working on your business really is just as important because without this work, there won't be any revenue generating, work for you to do. So and entrepreneurs often get caught in this feast and famine cycle where they're busy working in their business and forget or they don't have time to work on their business. And then the client work runs out. And they're frantically trying to have to work on business development, the marketing, the social media, sales calls. And you get into this scarcity mindset because you're like, oh my God, where's the next, paycheck coming from? Where's the next client coming from? I found myself in that same position a number of years ago when I was actually busy building a brand camp and I dropped the ball in business development and business dried up because I wasn't getting out there. I wasn't connecting with people. I wasn't doing the work working on business development. I was busy working on stuff behind the scenes, but it wasn't revenue generating at the time. So there really is a balance that you need to find, and both of these activities really need to work or to happen on a weekly basis. So let's kind of define what these things are. So working on your business are things like social media, content creation, networking, learning, just like this, right? Planning your time, sales calls, goal setting, creating systems, and just even that creative thinking time. I find that's what I need to get more in my schedule. Then the working in your business. This is the meeting clients, the actual client work, invoicing, scheduling, team meetings, emailing, paying invoices. That's like the in the business stuff. So that just so you get a sense of defining like what's working on the business and what's working in it. So let's look at scheduling. Really, the key is planning. You need to schedule time that you will spend in your business every day. So you have to ask yourself, when do I do my best focus work? So for me, I know it's in the morning. So I have most mornings blocked with no meetings. And I also have Thursdays as no meeting days. So I have a full day to focus. Now, using a scheduling tool is extremely helpful, and there are several options. I personally use Calendly, and I'll share a little bit more about that with you shortly. So, a scheduling tool allows you to block your time so that you only do calls on certain days between certain times. And all of this will help you save time and really allows you to protect your time and build some boundaries around your time because that is important and often not emphasized enough. We try to make ourselves too available for people and then we end up burning out and we are no good to anybody when we burn out. So I put everything in my calendar: lunch, workouts, date night, all of those things, so that I honor my commitments to myself. I'm not perfect, but I'm way better than I used to be because without those things in the calendar, I don't have those reminders and that time isn't blocked for those activities. And you need to prioritize your time and really try not to get yourself distracted. Easier said than done, I know. And focus is important. Working on your business is hard. So planning your focus time will get you the results really that you are desiring. And it doesn't take much to get started. Even just, 30 minutes a day will begin with you getting into this habit. And the great thing about working on your business is that it quickly makes the working in your business a lot easier and a lot more rewarding, especially when you've got some of the systems in place. So let's take a look at, calendars. So this is my Calendly. This is sort of the back end. I have a lot of different call types. You're not necessarily going to have all of those, but I have my 20-minute discovery call. I've got 30-minute client calls. I do my Instagram live series. So I've got, specific call times for that. So I have different types of calls that are different lengths, and I have different availability for those. And so whenever somebody's like, hey, I'd love to set up a call with you, amazing. Here's a link to the appropriate calendar so that you or an assistant or somebody aren't sending back and forth emails. And, it can take a long time to find two people who can find a time that works together. And I've had it where I've had somebody doing that. And in the meantime, somebody else books a time in my calendar for the time that we finally landed on. So this saves time, it saves energy, it's super easy, and so many people use it. You can actually get a free account to get started. You can only have one call type though with the trial or with the free account. So try something like Calendly. There's other ones, Acuity. I can't think of any of the other names because I'm not as familiar with them, but just see what's going to work best for you and just start using it. So the next thing I want to show you is this is something I developed a number of years ago because I was finding, you start a week and again, like suddenly you get to Friday and you're like, what have I done? So you need to find a balance between, and just populate this calendar. Take maybe it's Sunday or Monday morning or whenever, like what are the business development things I'm going to be doing? What systems am I working on? What social media posts am I creating or posting? What content, like am I blogging? Like when am I working on these things that are in the business, that are business development, that are going to build our awareness? And then what's the client work? Because you want to make sure you find a balance. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but you want to find a balance between the business development and the client work. And if you find your week is like only client work, then something needs to change, right? Either you need to outsource some of that client work or you need to just take on less clients so you can have the time to work on the business development, because if you're not, you're going to run out of business and you're going to get into that feast and famine cycle. So it's better to take on fewer clients at a time and be working on business development so you have a steady flow of business. So then the one underneath that is delegate and delay. So delegate, if you have somebody on your team, you can look at the tasks in your calendar coming up and go, am I the one that has to do this? Right? So I'm making some edits to my calendar right now. I had a call with my assistant Danielle, so she knows what I'm thinking. She's going to go into Calendly and make all of the revisions for me, so I don't need to do it. Right? So like, what are there things that you can delegate to a team member, even your spouse or your kids, right? Like, you don't even have to think about this in context of your business, but like, what are some of the things that you just know that you won't have time for this week? So is it that it's the grocery shopping is somebody else's job this week, or cleaning the toilets, or making dinner, whatever that might be? You can put that into the delegate and just make sure you let that person know that you've delegated this to them. And then delay is this essential this week? Like and I've been guilty of this. Like I get this sense of urgency, like everything has to happen now. And so when you go, okay, like, is this the thing that I need to work on this week? Could I delay that to next week or a couple of weeks out or even another quarter, right? Like there's things that I started discussing with my team and we're like, okay, it's important, but that's like a Q3 thing, right? Like we don't need to work on that now. There's other initiatives or things that need to happen that are more urgent or timely, and that I can delay those things, right? You don't have to do everything all at once. So I will share this as a resource here in the Brand Accelerator. It'll be just below this video, so you can click and download this. It's a fillable PDF. If that works for you, great. If you want to create your own version somehow, feel free. This is more of a framework to just get you thinking about how you're creating your weekly schedule. Okay, so then, it's really planning your day. So these are some things that I started creating. This is actually on my phone. I took this like screenshot of something I have in my phone that's just in my notes, and I can check things off. I like to check things off my list. I'm that kind of person where I like add something to the list after it's done, just so I get to check it off. It's very satisfying. So you want to plan your day. What are the priorities for today? What are the things I'm going to finish? And what are the things I'm going to delegate? So this was a screenshot from a week or so ago. Needed to finish this slide deck, had to review and approve some social media posts, follow up with some leads. I had a session of brand camp. I had a brand accelerator call. Like there was a bunch of things. So I could go through and go, okay, there's some things that need to happen. I'm going to delegate the webinar emails, setting up of the next session of brand camp, et cetera, et cetera. So I try to do this on a daily basis just so that I can feel like I've achieved something in my day, not just like, what did I do? Like sometimes we get to the end of our day and we're like, what did I do today? Did I accomplish anything? So this can be really satisfying and just helps you, right? Like that, those little steps, this is about taking action every day so that you stay on task. And I'm not saying you're necessarily going to get all of these things every day always accomplished. That's okay. You shift it to the next day. It's not about beating yourself up about it. So then the last thing really is action steps. So look at the big picture, and how you work best. Then you want to create a weekly plan that includes both the business development and client work. And then create that daily action plan, right? So first is really look in the big picture. When do I work best? Creating the plan, and then the daily, the weekly and then the daily action plan. It does help if you even go out further and go, okay, what's our goal for this year? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, break that down into kind of monthly, weekly, and daily actions. So, it depends on where you are in your business. Right now, you might just be planning for the next 3 months and you're like, I'm not even thinking 12 months ahead right now. I'm just focusing here and my objectives. So this is just a bit of a framework to give you some guidance as to how to think about your week and your schedule. If you have questions or you want feedback, you can post it in the Facebook group or bring it to the next office hours call so I can help answer any of those questions for you. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you on our next call.